So much, Joel. This weekend, a new exhibit opens at the Clinton Presidential Center.
It is called Women's Voices, Women's Votes, Women's Rights. And this morning, Claire Kreitz is there live with a first-hand look at what visitors can expect to see. Hey, Claire, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Rebecca Tennille. Now, tell me a little bit about this exhibit.
We're so excited about this exhibit. It's the first indoor exhibit that we've had since the pandemic. And this one is a long time in the making because it was actually supposed to debut a few years ago at this point now. So we're really happy to finally bring it to everyone, and it opens Saturday. It's called Women's Voices, Women's Votes, Women's Rights, and it's all about the men and women who struggled, sometimes putting their lives on the line for the right to vote, and just the progress that's been made since then. And then, as Secretary Clinton likes to call it, the unfinished business of the 21st century, just really the continual elevation of women and girls' rights.
That is so awesome. What does it feel like to see a new temporary exhibit back here at the Clinton Presidential Center?
It's so nice, and our volunteers are so excited, and we're just really, really excited to welcome folks back in for a wonderful, one-of-a-kind temporary exhibit. This is a very beautiful and moving and compelling exhibit that I think everybody's going to be able to understand and appreciate on some level. We've got all kinds of artifacts. We've got timelines. We also have these 18 beautiful quilts that you really have to see to believe, because the artistry is just amazing. It opens Saturday and it runs through April 30th.
Perfect. And what time can people come out here to?
So it's Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, and then on Sunday it's 1 to 5. And go to clintoncenter.org and find all the information you need about ticket pricing and about hours and what else you can see and do while you're here.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We will get a first look at the exhibit in the next half hour, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
A new temporary exhibit called Women's Voices, Women's Votes, Women's Rights. It's opening this weekend at the Clinton Presidential Center. That's where we're going to find our very own Claire Kreitz live this morning with a nice preview of what you can expect to see in the new exhibit. Good morning, Claire.
Hey, good morning, DJ. Yeah, I'm here with Ben Thielemeyer. Tell me a little bit about the room we're in right now.
Yeah, hey, Claire. We are in the downstairs gallery on the ground floor. It's of Women's Voices, Women's Votes, Women's Rights. This is the Organize, Challenge, and Insist section of the exhibition. So upstairs, it's a lot of history, which is great, but downstairs is contemporary. It's all women who are still alive, who are still activists, who are still working for women's rights in the U.S. and around the world.
Yeah, this is incredible to see. Now tell me a little bit about what we have right here.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite cases in the exhibition. Some really interesting objects here. So this head wrap is actually from President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, what she wore when she accepted the Nobel Peace Prize. Right next to it is a Bible from Justice Thurgood Marshall that Vice President Kamala Harris was sworn in on at her inauguration. On the other side, what you can't see are some kindergarten papers from Malala Yousafzai, who is an incredible education activist from Pakistan. So some really interesting artifacts to complement throughout the exhibition.
Yeah, this is so cool. And in the next half hour, we'll take another look at some of the things that you can see in this exhibit. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
This weekend, a new exhibit opens. It's going to be at the Clinton Presidential Center.
It's called Women's Voices, Women's Votes, and Women's Rights. And this morning, our Claire Kreitz joins us there live with what visitors can expect to see when they head out there. Hey, Claire, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm here with Kathleen Pate, and right now we're talking all about suffrage.
We are. In particular, we're talking about the unique place that Arkansas holds in the history of the women's suffrage movement. So this exhibit is actually going to have Arkansas's ratification of the 19th Amendment, and as it says on your beautiful sash, Arkansas was the 12th state to ratify. So really one of the few southern states to do so. So July 1919 is when Arkansas ratified. The movement here was very powerful. Governor Brough called a special session in for that ratification. So we're really excited to have that Arkansas connection in the exhibit.
That is so awesome. Now, what are some of the things people can see here when they come?
Well, in addition to the ratification document, we've got a newspaper with the Declaration of Sentiments, so that's 1848 newspaper. We have papers of the Grimke sisters. They were abolitionists who were very active kind of in the beginning of the suffrage movement, back in the 1840s, 1850s. The abolitionist movement and the suffrage movement were really tied together at the beginning.
Yeah, what is it like to see all of this in here?
Well, it's amazing. Like right behind you is a case with artifacts. A woman named Anne Lewis. I always get her name wrong. Anne Lewis has an amazing collection, and she lent us some of her artifacts. And just to see those, the buttons, the pins, just really speaks to me. The struggle that women of color went through to be able to vote.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the next half hour, we'll talk even more about the exhibit. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
A new temporary exhibit called Women's Voices, Women's Votes, and Women's Rights is opening this weekend at the Clinton Presidential Center. That's where we're going to find our Claire Kreitz this morning with a preview and everything you can expect to see. Good morning, Claire.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm back with Kathleen. Now, tell me a little bit. You guys have some programs going on as well.
We do. We've got tours for kids of all ages, so we'll have students coming in as young as kindergarten, all the way through high school, doing some of our education programs. We've got special events planned. We're going to do fun things like make buttons. Suffragists found different ways to communicate their messages, so sashes, banners, but also buttons. So we went ahead and made a classic Votes for Women button for you, and then you went ahead and cut out your Socks the cat, President Clinton, which you might not realize that cats have a connection to suffrage.
Really?
Yes. One of my favorite kids' books about suffrage is Around America to Win the Vote. And this is a true story of two women who drove across the country with a typewriter, a sewing machine, and a little black kitten.
I love that.
So we'll finish making this button in just a minute. Maybe you can wear it later.
Awesome. So let's remind people again what time they can come out.
Right. So the exhibit officially opens on Saturday the 10th, and we are open Monday through Saturday 9 to 5 and Sundays from 1 to 5.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me out. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio.